So I went to the hospital today. In fact, I was at the ER today for 7 hours. Absolutely fantastic. Really, truly. Have I mentioned how much I absolutely love hospitals? I mean, they're just my favorite place to be in the world. Please note that sarcasm. I absolutely cannot stand hospitals. I know part of it has to do with the fact of the smell and being there when my dad was sick all the time, but no, I don't like hospitals, and it's hysterical that that's where I'm planning on working for the rest of my life, so that's great. But yeah, I went to the ER today, and I was there for 7 hours today with my mom because of this abdominal pain that I was having. So when I got there, they said, well, either the, best case scenario is we don't know what's going on. Worst case scenario is it's your appendix or a cyst, that ruptured. So that would be fun. Well, after 7 hours, I discovered that nothing's wrong medically with me, which is annoying as all hell because that's how it always happens with me and doctors. It took them 3 years to diagnose the issue with my knee. It took them 2 years to diagnose my polycystic ovarian syndrome, so that's fun. So you can imagine why I don't necessarily like going to doctors, and I mean I still go, obviously, like I still try and get as much information as possible. I'm that patient that asks every single question in the book while I'm there, but I don't like going to doctors whenever I'm sick because or something just feels off, because I know my body well enough to know that abdominal pain that is putting me in the position where I cannot sit up straight, where I cannot drive my car and turn it without being in intense pain, is not period cramps. Like, I know this. I've had my period for over a decade. I know that this is not that. So you can imagine how frustrated I get whenever I go to a doctor, and I know my body well enough to know when something's not quite right and something's wrong. And I kind of get told, no, you're fine. And that's what happened with my knee the first time around. I couldn't actually stand. I couldn't put any weight on my leg at all, and I had a doctor tell me I was absolutely fine, and that I didn't need crutches, I was fine. And just to pop some Advil and I'd be fine. And it took them 3 years to officially diagnose my knee, and for me to finally know how to treat it and take care of it, et cetera, and, dealing with my lovely hormonal issues and everything like that, and every other issue that I have. Thankfully on some occasions, I have gotten to find out information right away, but still, this is frustrating. So there's my mini rant for this video. But it's a regrowth video, so that means it has to do with my hair. I've done the checkups at doctor's offices, and everything like that, once I shaved my head. It wasn't actually a big deal. But it was like minor checkups. I wasn't doing any crazy stuff. This was, I got back, I went to my gynecologist, I was doing all that stuff, and that was fine. And I don't know why, well, actually I do know. I know part of it has to do with the fact that when I was going there, I knew that I was going there because I actually was sick. That something was actually wrong, and I made sure I got all dressed up for it. I didn't show up looking like a bum or anything like that. Now, however, today, when I went to the doctor, well, better yet, when I was at the ER, I came in dressed pretty much like a bum, and I had no makeup on. This is my makeup face. This is my cover-up underneath my eyes and on my chin, my light powder, and my mascara. It's not a lot, but it gets the job done, and I like that I have found something so simple to make myself feel confident on days when I don't. On days where I'm feeling really sick, I put on makeup because I'm like, you know what, even if my body feels crappy, I don't want them to come across to either customers or my friends or my family. I'm gonna put my best face forward. And it's not that I don't enjoy my naked face. I love my naked face. I think it's beautiful. But in times when I'm sick, it's kind of like my own little tradition. I make sure that I'm wearing makeup. Today I wasn't wearing any makeup. And as soon as I got back from the ER, I had to go put on a face, which I thought was kind of odd. But I was so frustrated. I mean, I'm leaving the ER and I'm cursing up a storm in front of my mother. I'm annoyed. I'm angry. The doctors could tell that I was immediately angry. I was so sweet the whole 7 hours I was there, but that last half an hour after they told me that nothing was wrong was livid. I absolutely couldn't take it. And they kept saying, well, it's a good thing that that nothing's wrong. And I said, no, I would rather you guys tell me my appendix needs to be taken out right now, or it should have been taken out 5 hours ago. I would rather you guys tell me that an ovary burst than anything. Please just tell me that something's wrong, because I know that something's wrong. So stop telling me that everything's okay. And I was getting more and more frustrated. I was getting angrier and angrier. And the worst part of today was walking around the hospital and feeling completely exposed. My body's broken. My body is sick. Something's wrong. And I already have my medical issues at the wazoo, which is great to go through doctors with and say, oh, this is wrong and that's wrong and that. Having to go through that list and having to tell them about deeply personal things, and having your space invaded through pelvic exams and CAT scans and internal ultrasounds and just the poking and the prodding and this sample and that sample. And I'm not wearing any clothes. I'm walking around, in just my sandals and the gown, and I'm having to hold it in the back, like carry my IV so that even though the needle's like jabbing into my hand as I'm holding it like this, because I don't want anybody to see my underwear. I don't want to feel exposed. And I hated feeling sick and not feeling pretty. Because I've seen the looks I've gotten from people, whenever they pass me by. I had this woman who passed me by, and it was obvious that her daughter was sick. She had the look, she had the smell, and her hair was in patches. So I don't know what she was sick with. I don't know what medication, but her mother caught my eye and just smiled at me and started welling up. And I felt like for a second she was looking at me as if I was some kind of sister in arms with her daughter. And as much as I love this journey, and as much as I love being this advocate, and as much as I love telling a story, and I'm learning from it so much, and as much as I love everything about it, I hated being in a place feeling sick and looking sick. Because it's one thing for a girl to have short hair and to have makeup on and to look beautiful. It's another thing for a girl to look sick and have no hair. The looks that I get sometimes, I'm having an off day, or I'm caught crying somewhere, and the looks that I get, and the things that I hear people say behind my back. It's disgusting. Their ignorance is disgusting. Their stupidity is disgusting. But the worst thing about today is, for the first time, I really hated having short hair. And I've been enjoying it, and yeah, I got trimmed up too much, and I see these girls with these really long hair some days, and sometimes it's too long, and I just wish I could take a scissor to it and cut it and donate to somebody who needs it. And other days I see, I've stopped looking at pictures of myself with long hair. But I see these girls with this hair, and I see them in like a bun, and I really wish I could do that with my hair, and I get frustrated because I'm wondering if it's gonna grow out a certain way, or if it's gonna be cut a certain way, or if I can carry this look, or how long is it gonna take? Am I ever gonna want long hair again? Am I ever gonna, is it gonna be the same? No, it's not gonna be the same, because obviously it changed my life so much more now, but I hated the fact that I hated looking the way I did today. I did this to myself. I decided to raise money. I decided to shave my head. I decided to go on this journey. And I also decided this morning not to wear makeup before I went to the hospital because I was too tired and I was in too much pain and I didn't really want to spend the time doing it. Even though it takes 5 minutes, I still didn't want to spend that time, getting ready. I also didn't know it was going to take 7 hours in the hospital, but this journey has changed my life. And I have days when I'm so encouraged and I'm so in awe of the beauty that stands before me. When I look in the mirror sometimes, when I meet people and I get to share stories of courage and hear their stories about their family and their friends. And I get to be reminded that what I did was a good thing. Because sometimes I just get awkward stares and people just look at me like I'm some kind of freak or somebody who just cut her hair really short, or if she's a lesbian, because that one's new, of course, too. But there are people in this world that have it much worse than I do. That it wasn't their choice. That they got sick. And they lost their hair, and their skin has changed color, they've lost weight. And here I am getting upset because I'm not feeling pretty enough. I'm not at the hospital to impress anybody. I'm sick, and is it because I'm afraid to be identified with them? Do I have to group myself into another subgroup of people who have no hair, who aren't sick, or who haven't battled anything? And that's what scared me the most today, because I love every single person that I've met. Every single story that they've told me I hold really close to my heart. I saw my aunt lose all her hair. I've seen friends battle this disease. I saw my dad lose. My dad was a missing link. I saw him lose every inch of his hair and look like a complete skeleton. And yet, for the first time today, as much as I've loved putting myself with them, putting myself with everyone, and saying that I'm standing with them in some kind of weird way, as kind of like am an ambassador or an advocate. Today I didn't want to be. And that scares the crap out of me, because that's not why I did this. I did this for many reasons, but I wanted to be in their shoes. I wanted to better understand. Because when I look into a friend's eyes, I want to tell them that they're beautiful, and I want to mean it. Because I want to also already know the thoughts that are going through her head and how scared she feels and how ugly she might feel. I want to understand it. And today, I hated Loki the way I did, and I hate the fact that I felt that way. I really did. I hated the fact that I hated this, everything that I am. I hated that I had to cover it up. I had to hide it beneath the layer of powder and mascara. I had to hide how sick I was because I didn't want people to think I was sick and not just sick. I'm sorry, guys. I really am. I am so sorry.